Hey everyone, my videos aren't getting much traction on YouTube right now. A like or any comment would really make a difference. Thanks. Lana and Mike were both 18 the night they first met. She was celebrating the new year with a small group of friends in a cramped, budget-friendly apartment. He arrived with a buddy who happened to know one of her classmates from community college. As soon as Mike walked in, his attention immediately went to Lana. He couldn't stop staring at her, and she felt that connection too. He wasn't the flashiest guy in the room, but there was something in the way he looked at her that made her heart race. They didn't get a chance to talk that night. Too much noise, too many clinking glasses. But a couple of weeks later, Lana's phone buzzed with an unknown number. It turned out Mike had borrowed a friend's contact list and decided to reach out. Their first date was awkward and hilarious, something they'd laugh about for years to come. But Mike did something no one else had done. He won her over with old-school manners, holding doors, making sure she was safe at the end of the night, and actually listening to her. Lana fell for him, hard, right then and there. From that point forward, they were inseparable. Mike became her first serious boyfriend, the kind who'd pick her up and carry her when her heels hurt. They dated for a few years before deciding to live together. A wedding was always something they talked about, but Mike kept putting off proposing until he finished his engineering degree in another city. Every semester, he'd be gone for months, and they'd miss each other terribly. They spent countless nights talking on the phone, counting down the days until he returned. The moment he graduated, Mike proposed. By then, they had been living together for 4 years. Some friends speculated that Lana was pregnant, but that wasn't the case. Their relationship was simply moving to the next step. They honeymooned in the Smoky Mountains and, soon after, started trying for a baby. 6 months of negative pregnancy tests later, Lana finally saw the pink line. Pregnancy wasn't easy. Her hormones were all over the place. Morning sickness was a constant battle, and it felt like her body wasn't her own anymore. They powered through, and 9 months later, they had a beautiful baby girl. Lana threw herself into motherhood, determined to be the perfect mom. In the process, she started to forget about Mike. Not that he was around much to notice. He had picked up a second job and was barely home long enough to kiss the baby goodnight before collapsing in bed. Predictably, their marriage began to unravel. The challenges of new parenthood were foreign to both of them, and they didn't know how to navigate it. With the baby crying all night, Mike retreated to the spare bedroom to get some rest before work. That physical distance slowly turned into emotional distance. Lana still loved Mike, but it hurt to be near him. She'd gotten herself back in shape through daily workouts and looked better than ever, but nothing changed between them. She convinced herself Mike had fallen out of love with her. The truth, though, was that Mike adored her. He just felt immense pressure to provide now that Lana wasn't working. He became irritable, distant, and had little energy left for romance. Things eventually started to improve as their daughter began sleeping through the night, and the house grew quieter. But still, Lana felt a void. She was doing everything on her own, feeding the baby, cleaning, cooking. While Mike worked long shifts, the burnout began to take its toll. Divorce crossed her mind more than once, but the thought of breaking up their daughter's home stopped her in her tracks. When their daughter turned 2 and started daycare, Lana returned to work. It felt like she could finally breathe after years of feeling suffocated. And as she re-entered the world of adults, she noticed men starting to pay attention to her again. She started engaging in team lunches, dipping her toes back into the social world. Lana thought maybe her marriage just needed time to adjust. But then came the office party that changed everything. The night before, she and Mike had a blow-up over something trivial. His jealousy had reached new heights, yet he was still distant and devoid of affection. Fed up with the endless arguing, Lana left the house, hoping the music would help her shake off the frustration. At the party, she let loose, becoming the karaoke queen, laughing and flirting with everyone. Her best friend, Laura, as wild as ever, kept pace with her, shot for shot. Around 1 a.m., Laura started feeling sick, so Lana decided to take her home. Meanwhile, Mike stayed behind with their child, bombarding Lana with angry texts, demanding she return. She silenced the phone and focused on helping Laura upstairs. Waiting outside the building was Laura's husband, Ethan. Tall, rugged, with a jawline that seemed tailor-made for flannel shirts. Ethan was the kind of guy who could easily model casual wear. Lana had met him once before when Laura had to leave a brunch early. Back then, Lana couldn't help but feel a pang of envy at the obvious upgrade Laura had made. Ethan lifted Laura into his arms and carried her inside while Lana followed, holding her friend's purse and shoes. Once inside, Ethan tucked Laura into bed and then joined Lana in the kitchen. "Same couch, different night, ho," he said with a grin, popping open a bottle of Prosecco, as if the party had just relocated. Lana knew staying there was betraying both Mike and Laura. But the buzz, the music, the way Ethan's gaze lingered on her lips, she couldn't stop herself. They closed the bedroom door to avoid waking Laura, and continued the celebration at the kitchen table. At some point, Ethan's hand brushed against Hayes, and soon enough, he leaned in and kissed her. It had been 5 years since Lana kissed anyone other than Mike, and the electricity of it left her mind spinning. They stumbled to the living room couch, and the boundary she once swore she would never cross vanished. Afterward, she dozed off, only to wake up in a panic. It was nearly 4 a.m. She dressed quickly, slipped out, and ordered a cab. Ethan had already crawled back into bed with Laura. Lana turned on her phone, only to be bombarded with missed calls and texts from Mike, every one of them filled with anger. She couldn't bring herself to read them. The tears blurred the streetlights as she realized she couldn't hide the truth from Mike. Her mascara was smeared, her lipstick was gone, and her hair was a mess. She wiped her face with baby wipes, hoping to erase the evidence. When she walked through the door of the apartment, Mike emerged from the bedroom, his anger barely contained. Lana quickly spun a story about a dead phone battery and getting sick with Laura playing nurse. It almost worked. Her trembling voice and pale face made the illness story seem believable. "We'll talk in the morning," Mike muttered. A wave of relief washed over her. Maybe he bought it. But then, as he took off her coat, his eyes froze. A dark bruise on her neck, Ethan's careless mark, stood out like a neon sign. Tears fell again. The rest of the night was spent on the hallway floor, her heart heavy. At dawn, Mike packed a suitcase without saying a word. "I'm filing for divorce tomorrow," he said, his voice cold. And with that, he left. A month later, Lana was officially single. No husband. No idea how to rebuild her life. Just a daily ache where her marriage used to be, all because of one reckless, drunken mistake.